Morning, everybody, and welcome to day 4 of our perimeter unit on online learning. Today, we are going to kick it up a little bit, and we are going to work on finding the perimeter of shapes where we're not given all of the side lengths, and we're going to start looking at some perimeter word problems. So before we do, let's look at our I can statement for today, just as if we were really in the classroom. Our I can statement is, I can find the perimeter of shapes with unknown sides. So that is going to be our goal for today. So what I want us to do is go ahead and look at a couple of shapes. The first one I have up here is a square. And if we take a second and think, what are some things we already know about squares? In other words, what makes a square a square? Hopefully you're thinking that you know a square has 4 equal sides, but they only gave me one side length. So if I'm looking at this square and I only see that one side is 4 centimeters, what do I know about the other sides of my square? Well, if all sides must be equal and this side is 4 centimeters, I can go ahead and label. This side is 4 centimeters, this side is 4 centimeters, this side is 4 centimeters. Now, if I want to find my perimeter, I could write 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. But repeated addition is just a strategy for multiplication. I have 4 groups of 4, or 4 4s, which means I could also just write 4 times 4. And I know that's 4, 8, 12, 16. Don't want to leave it just as 16. I always want to label my units. So 16 centimeters. So up on my chart, I went ahead and wrote the perimeter of our square is 16 centimeters. Let's look at another example. Number 2, I drew a rectangle. What are some things we already know about rectangles? Now we know rectangles are a little bit different than squares. Squares have 4 equal sides, but rectangles are a shape where opposite sides are equal. They have 2 pairs of equal sides. So on this rectangle, I had one side that was 3 feet and one side that was 5 feet. If I know opposite sides are equal, if this side is 3 feet, this side is 3 feet. And remember, at home, you guys can pause me, go get a piece of paper, and draw some of these with me. If this side is 5 feet, this side is 5 feet. Then if I want to find the perimeter of this shape, I can go ahead and write. I'm going to put them together. I'm going to do 3 plus 3 plus 5 plus 5. 3 plus 3 I know is 6, plus 5 plus 5 I know is 10. 10 plus 6 is 16. The perimeter of this shape is 16, but 16 what? Go back to my problem, 16 feet. So I went ahead and wrote the perimeter of my rectangle is 16 feet. Now we can move on to our third shape. And our third shape up here is an octagon. What does the word octagon mean? Well, we know it's a shape, it's a polygon, but what does the prefix octo mean? We can think of like an octopus. An octopus has 8 tentacles, so octo means 8. An octagon is a shape with 8 sides. Now I know if you're trying to draw these at home, octagons are a little bit tricky to draw, so it's okay, just do the best you can. I always like to just draw my top, I go out, I go out, I come straight down, I go in, and then I have a straight line. Now you can see Miss Octagon isn't perfect either. We're all just doing the best we can. Now I'm going to go ahead and label this side is 2 yards. Now if I have a regular octagon, that means that, again, all of my sides are equal. So if this side length is 2 yards, this side is 2, 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 and this side is 2. Now, I could write perimeter equals 2 plus 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 2. That would take me a long time to write. What is another way I could write 8 groups of 2? In other words, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 groups of 2. What's another way I could write this equation? Yes, I could say 2 times 8. Because I'm basically just going 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. 8 groups of 2 is 16. Now I go back to my problem, 16 what? 16 yards. And I went ahead and labeled it. Now my question is, I just found the perimeter of 3 shapes. And I want to know which shape, I got cut off a little bit, which shape has the larger perimeter? And I guess I'm confused because I think they're all the same. This one was 16, the square had 16, the rectangle had 16, and the octagon had 16. So can I say that all of my shapes have an equal perimeter? Why can't I say that? If you're thinking you have to go back to the units, you're correct. Centimeters, feet, and yards are not the same. Just because the value 16 is equal, we know that 16 centimeters is much smaller than 16 yards. Which shape has the larger perimeter? In other words, which is the larger unit? Centimeters, feet, or yards? Yes, yards are the largest unit, which means this octagon technically has the larger perimeter because 16 yards is much bigger than 16 feet and 16 centimeters. What I want to do now is take a look at a couple of word problems. So what I did was I just wrote my little word problem inside of our sheet protectors. So let's look at this one because you are going to have some word problems on your classwork today. This one says, Miss Smith builds a fence that is 10 feet by 7 feet. What is the perimeter of her fence? Well, I don't even see a fence, so how can I solve this? I'm gonna have to draw. So it says 10 feet by 7 feet, which means it's not a shape that has equal side legs. But if they're giving me 2 already, that tells me I need to draw a rectangle. So I'm gonna go ahead and draw a rectangle, and you can do this too. And they gave me 2 of the sides. I go back to the problem, I see one side is 10 feet and the other side is 7 feet. Would it make sense for me to label this side 10 and this side 7? No, 10 is the larger side, the longer side. So I'm gonna label this side 10 feet and this side 7 feet. Now, I only have 2 sides, but rectangles, we know opposite sides are equal, so I can go ahead and label this as 10 feet and this as 7 feet. So now, how can I find the perimeter? Yes, I add all of my sides together. Go ahead and do that on your paper too. Perimeter equals 10 plus 10 plus 7 plus 7. Well, I know 10 plus 10, that makes 20. 7 plus 7, that makes 14. 20 plus 14, I can even write it up here if I need to do it vertically. 20 plus 14, 34. So the perimeter of my fence is 34 feet. Let's look at one more example of a word problem. I'm going to switch it out on my sheet protector. Here we go. Elijah paints a 5-inch by 7-inch painting for his mom's birthday. What is the total length of wood he needs for the frame? I don't see a painting on this problem, so I'm gonna have to draw it. So it says 5 inches by 7 inches, which again tells me that the sides are not equal, so it can't be a square, so I'm gonna draw a rectangle. I know one side is 5 and one side is 7. Well, my longer side is going to be my bigger number. So 7 inches is going to go up at the top, 5 inches on the side. Again, if it's a rectangle, opposite sides are equal. 7 inches, 5 inches. Now I can write my equation. perimeter equals 7 plus 7 plus 5 plus 5. And I know that 7 plus 7 makes 14, plus 5 plus 5 makes 10. That's mental math right there. 14 plus 10, that's 24 inches. So this, the total length of wood he needs for his frame, well, a frame goes around a picture. That's why I'm finding the perimeter. My perimeter, or the total length that I'm going to need, is 24 inches. On your classwork today, you guys are going to have a couple of different problems. In fact, let me see if I can go ahead and show you what your classwork will look like today. So it's going to look like this. Here we go. So you have two shapes up at the top on number 1, where you have only one side labeled. Again, if you have only one side labeled, that means you know that all of the other sides are equal, so you can go ahead and label them, then add it together. When we get down here at number 2, it says label the unknown side lengths of the rectangle below. Again, on a rectangle, we know opposite sides are equal, so we can label those opposite sides and find the perimeter. Then I gave you a word problem. Paige paints an 8-inch by 9-inch picture for her mom's birthday. Wait a minute, that sounds just like this problem we did. What is the total length of wood that Paige needs to make a frame for the picture? So again, this time you need to draw the shape, label the sides you know, find the opposite sides, then solve to find the perimeter. I can't wait to see your classwork later this afternoon. Thank you guys again for being patient with me and walking through this video and doing all of the work at home. Tomorrow, I'm going to try, we'll see how it goes. I'm going to try and post a little quiz for us to complete based on everything we've learned about perimeter this week and see how you guys do. See you tomorrow. Bye.